Welcome, and welcome back, Angela.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
And we could bring Angela back, and we lose Jessica. So Jessica, feel better. We hope you feel better soon. Well, listen, this is the close of our 9th season. Do you believe that?
Wow.
9 years. It's hard to believe. So thank you, ladies, and thank you to the audience out there for viewing our show. And we hope that you're back with us in early 2018.
Yeah.
But we got tons to get to. Lots going on in the local news. But there is a particular issue that I think is going to be very problematic for a lot of folks in South Carolina. I'm sure you all have heard that SCANA and Santee Cooper pulled out, abandoned the project for the nuclear reactors that they were building up in Jenkinsville in Fairfield County, leaving more than 5,000 people without jobs. Just one day they came in, and that afternoon they had no jobs. In addition to that, the county, Fairfield County, and a lot of small businesses just don't know what they're going to do. So, their excuse or their argument is, look, the reactors were costing too much, the main contractor went bankrupt, and it just was not feasible economically for them to move forward. So that's why they said that they pulled back. But here's the catch. It's going to take more rate increases on top of the ones that people have already paid to clean up the project. Something like $2 billion to clean up the project. So, what's your take? I mean, some people are saying that they should be forced to at least finish one reactor. Others are saying they want money back. I mean, what's your take?
Well, I hate to throw good money after bad. I mean, ultimately, I think we'd all like to see the project finished. But with Westinghouse filing bankruptcy, and we talked a little bit earlier before the show, the catch is that they're really the only company that builds nuclear reactors. There's not another company that can come in and say, okay, we'll finish the job. So that's problematic. 9 rate increases to SCNG customers and 5 to Santee Cooper. And I think they were trying to figure out a way to at least finish one, but when Santee Cooper said we're out, SCANA didn't have a choice but to pull the plug. I think the ramifications are going to really, we don't even know. The effects, foreclosures on homes, 5,000 people out of jobs. There's 600 people at SCENG that were involved, just there inside the company that are going to be losing jobs. And so it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. And to know also what the projections were on the overages, how did it get this far?
$20 billion.
How did it get this? They had to know before now about the cost and the time overrun. But yet those weren't really brought in. I sat in on a lot of those meetings. Those, that they have to do presentations every year to the legislature during the budget process. And there just really wasn't a whole lot of mention about that.
I think that's why there needs to be some investigation done, because we need answers. Those families need answers, and I do believe there needs to be some compensation for it. And so, if heads need to turn, whatever, we really need to. The public needs to know what really happened. We know what they're saying, but we need to know what really happened.
Right. Yeah, what my take on it is, I'm not so much looking to be reimbursed. I don't want to be hit with that other $2.2 billion. I mean, because like you were saying, Donna, 9 increases, and this has been since September of 2015. So we have been constantly hit with, rate increases. And I was reading in the state newspaper that SCANA, that some of this money, this $2.2 billion that you spoke of, that SCANA is going to try to recoup that back to their shareholders, so that they come off with not even paying anything, because SCANA's shareholders, SCANA invested in some money, and so they might take it back, give it to their shareholders, and then we're kind of left holding the bag with these rate increases. So
a lot of people aren't swallowing that. They're saying that they want their money back. They want the money from the rate increases, and that a lot of people are saying that because they're saying that they're not going to ever get anything for it.
That's right.
They've already paid in for these rate increases with nothing to
Right.
actually ever
Just
gain.
almost 20%.
Yeah, in
for
rate
most of
increases.
us.
And
Just below
so
20%.
it'll be interesting. I do think that there probably will be an investigation. I know that there's talk about bringing the General Assembly back into Columbia to pass a resolution. But I'm going to be honest with you, what is that going to do? I mean, the resolution that I think that they're proposing would say that SCANA can't, and Santee Cooper can't ask for more rate increases until we finish our investigation. But the
damage
operative
is
word is
done.
until, after we
Right.
finish, okay, rates go up.
Right.
I just think it's really unfair to people to
And
pay that
rates
kind
go
of
up
money.
on those families that lost
Yeah,
their jobs.
Right,
They
exactly.
That's
said
what I'm
that,
saying,
they
yeah.
said that in one instance, you had a lot of people in one community that are trying to sell their homes because now they have no work. And so you've got all these homes that potentially could go up for sale at one time, so you can imagine what.
And that's
they'll
going to
get.
affect property values for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And in a radius around that area as
And
well.
Fairfield County is not the most prosperous
No,
county.
it
Right.
isn't.
And they really needed
I
those
mean, they lost
jobs and
Mack
everything.
Truck, you
They lost
remember that
Mack.
Mack
Yes.
Truck was the same kind of way? So what do you think? Do you think that we need, yes or no, should they be allowed to get another rate increase to clean it up?
No.
No.
No one's for
No.
that.
No one's
Should
for
they
that.
give back the money that they've already charged to customers in the form of credits on their bills?
Well, yeah, but it's not going to happen.
That's
They
true.
said it's not
Sounds
going to
good,
happen.
but it's not gonna happen. I don't think so.
Well,
But hopefully what will happen is that you'll stay with us. And we'll see you on the other side of this commercial break. Stay with us.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Well, leaks in the White House, FBI, and other classified information has led our Attorney General, Jeff Sessions,
oh, Beauregard.
to issue a warning that leakers will be prosecuted, including the media. Do you think it is overreach to threaten to prosecute the media for leaks?
I think it is.
Absolutely,
I think
yes,
it is,
yes,
yeah.
it is.
And yeah, I think that's reaching a little too far. I understand about the leaks when you come to our nation's security. You know, I get that, but I also get who's in the White House and the necessity of the leaks
Yeah.
because of so many untruths that we're being told. So it's like it's almost like Graham said, you know, you shot in the head one way, and you know, so you just
You want to get shot or stabbed?
right, shot us down, you know. So
That was Lindsey
right,
Graham's
that's-
analogy.
Right, that's his analogy. So protecting the country is, of course, most important. Not necessarily protecting 45. You know, because when I mean protect, not physically protecting him, but I mean his intentions, because a lot of his intentions have not shown to be very pure. And that's just my opinion. You know, I don't trust him. I really don't trust. I don't trust what he says. I don't trust anything about it, about him and his White House.
You know, a lot of people say that those leaks are like a cry for help. That's what they're saying. That a lot of the leaks have to be coming from people who are in those circles, and they said that, you know, there's just so much chaos there, and so much you know, putting you under the bus attitude. You know, you might be up today, but the next day you're dog meat, you know. And so people are saying that the only way that they feel as though that they can let America know what's really going on is through these leaks. These leaks. And you know, we have laws to protect whistleblowers. Now, I know the media isn't a whistleblower, but you know, you got the leaks that are coming obviously from internally within the White House. And then you've got the media who basically, it's their job to, you know, to tell the news. And I don't see how Sessions or anybody else can direct any kind of backlash at the media.
But our president has to realize that he serves us. He works for us. He's not running a business where he's the CEO and he can just shut everything down when he wants to if something doesn't turn out just the way he wants it. This guy has to really get a grip on what his job title is and his job description, and I just don't think he has a clear vision of what that looks like for him.
Well, there have been some recent changes in the White House that I think will help as far as leadership, chief of staff, etc.
That's assuming that
some of these is a high turnover in the Trump White House.
Take a job there.
We will say, I think in matters of national security, like Angela, it's
important.
It's very important. We have a lot of things going on, like North Korea, and some things that are very sensitive
But
that
I'm
don't
gonna
need
be
to be.
honest,
There's some things we don't need to know.
Well, I hadn't heard those kind of leaks. I mean, maybe the big thing that they said that was problematic was the telephone conversation that he had with the other world leaders. And, I did not see anything that was, or hear anything that was of national security level. I just heard contradiction from how he initially framed those conversations, and that the actual conversations were very different than what he told the American people. So he was putting out there what the conversation was about, only for that to be untrue. So I just, I get the national security thing. I think you're right when it comes to national security. The leaks have got to stop. But I also think, we can't not get information or only rely upon him to synthesize the truth, because that's what he's doing. And Jeff Sessions' idea of prosecuting the media, that is really, I mean, come on, that's beyond the pale for him to even be considering that. But I think they can do anything. I hate to say, Jessica, you're not here, but she might have been right. They think they can do anything.
You're right. And it's really going to inhibit the press because, they get their information from sources, some sources who don't want to be known they don't want to be named. And, you see sometimes in the past where actually reporters have been jailed for not revealing their sources, because that's how important it is for the media in order to get information, is that people have to feel safe in telling them things. So I think that's troubling. It really is troubling.
And instead of focusing on
a lot of administrations, not just Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first time we've had leaks.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, but it's the first time people
many.
have threatened to prosecute the media, prosecute members of the media.
And instead of focusing on the leaks, which shows that you've been lying, focus on cleaning up your stuff and running the governing this country, and stop campaigning. This dude, y'all, I'm telling you, I'm lost for words, and I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but this man here, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't make it up.
Goodness. Somehow we got back on Trump again, ladies. It wasn't one of our topics. We're right back on Trump. So I'm going to change the course of the conversation a little bit. Let's talk about this new ad that I recently viewed on the internet. Procter & Gamble has a new ad, and it's called Let's Talk. And what it basically does, it depicts mothers talking to their children, both sons and daughters, about how to survive in a society that basically sometimes sees them as expendable and unequal. So there has been a little riff on the internet about this from both the black and the white community. So I wanted to get your take on what you guys think about that.
I think it's an inside peek into the African American family world. Just those unspoken things that we talk about at the table and in the living room and in the bedroom, that if most persuasions are not aware of, that those are the little things that we do to be safe. I've seen my grandmother say it, my mother, I've had to say it to my children, and I really could relate to the lady sitting at the table waiting on her son to get back home. I know what that's like, because I'm not sure that when my sons leave home that they're going to necessarily come back just a basic traffic stop. And the world has proven that to us. And so we live with that. That's just part of our culture that we've had to do. And it's unfortunate that in 2017 we're still doing it.
The talk, yeah. A lot of people thought that the talk was about the birds and the bees. That's what a lot of people think. But, in our community, you're right. The talk is about, the world sees you differently than you see yourself. And they do. They think less of you, no matter what, regardless. And I don't think everybody does, but I think that it is prevalent. And it is a part of the American DNA. And we have to deal with it because our kids are dying. Yeah. And people are being hurt because we won't have this conversation. And I think it's good that Procter & Gamble is doing this. I don't know if they'll make any money, but I thought it was done in an excellent way.
Oh,
and
yes.
It was done
very well.
Yeah, it was very realistic. I mean, and if you notice the way they did it, they started back, it looked like maybe in the 40s, and they walked their way up to 2017, and we're still having that.
It's each decade.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're still having that
Yes.
talk to try to get our kids to know that regardless of what other people think of you, you are still a creation of God. You are still just as good as anybody else. And it's sad we have to do that, but we do.
Anything that sparks good dialogue, I think, is a positive thing. And it's doing that because we're talking about it.
Yeah. And I think it's good to talk about it. It's one thing for us to sit and talk, three sisters, but we have another sister here, so we need to make sure that they feel as comfortable as we feel talking about this subject, and because that's the only way it changes. So Donna, you've been quiet. What you think, girl?
We've had this conversation before, and I have seen things change so dramatically in my lifetime, even in my own family, where, things would have been said or jokes would have been made when I was a child, and now if somebody were to say something like that, they would be horrified. So I don't think it gives a lot of credit to the growth of society and a lot of people that have had the experience that I have. And, there are bad people in the world, black and white, red and yellow. So, I can see where people can say it's stirring the pot a little bit. But it's hard for me to speak to because I don't have to have those conversations necessarily.
Right.
It's not
That's the
something that
difference.
I've experienced. And it's not like my parents didn't have conversations with me about what to do if you get pulled over. We get those talks too. And how to be respectful and put your hands where they can see them and those types of things. It's just hard to speak to when you don't experience
the same kind
but
of
I really do feel like I wish it would acknowledge a little more progress.
Well, that's what some people say was a criticism of it, that it didn't acknowledge that. But I think the point of it was just a journey. It was taking you on a historical journey only to end up where we started. Not in the same sense. It's certainly not as bad as it was in 1940 or 1950.
Or 1960.
But we're still having to have that talk. And that talk is a difference in some instances between life and death.
It is.
And I think that's the true. It's still the difference between life and death. And as long as it remains that powerful people have the authority to look at your life and not see much value, to see you totally different, to see you and see a threat just because you are there and you're in your black skin. It's a threat. So I think, I think it's a good thing that we're talking about it, and I loved the commercial.
I love the commercial. I absolutely did. And I kind of disagree with having to emphasize how far we've come because I don't feel like I see that as maybe, I'm grateful I could vote right now. I'm grateful I could sit at the front of the bus. I should have had that from the beginning.
I'm speaking as a white person, a white woman who was raised in the Deep South, as somebody who has seen and experienced that progress. around me with those close to me in my own life. And
Well-
so I think there's a lot of that goes on that needs to be acknowledged too. And we have a ways to go with some folks, but I have seen a lot of change for the good.
Well, you're right. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
there's
change
been
for the good,
change,
but
yeah.
we still have
A lot
eons
far
to go.
yes.
So I hate to cut off this good conversation,
Yeah.
but we have got to turn our attention to our next special guest. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
What if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Welcome back, and we are delighted to have with us a special guest in the hot seat, as we say. Let me introduce you in the proper way. As you know, this is Health Empowerment Tour season, and this is our 16th annual Health Empowerment Tour. Our theme this year is Mind, Body, Spirit, Sister to Sister. And we have with us the sister who is the former president of the Sigma Gamma Rho chapter in West Columbia, Miss Erica Williams.
Yes, thank you so much. So great to see all of you ladies here today.
Delighted to have you. Now, Erica is going to be our featured speaker on October the 14th,
Yes.
our final tour stop this season in Spartanburg.
Yes.
And I have heard her, I know she's wonderful, but tell us a little bit, Erica, about the sisterhood that you were involved in with Sigma Gamma Rho.
Sure. Well, I've actually been a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority since 1997. So this November marks 20 years. I know no one could barely believe that because I barely look over 20.
Of course. That's true, though, Erica.
But at any rate, it actually marks 20 years for me. So it's been an enjoyable journey. We are the smallest Greek-lettered organization, but still we try to make sure we do our part to bring wonderful programs that impact the communities in which we live, work, worship, and serve. And hence why I was so delighted to accept your invitation to be your speaker. I was thinking, little old me. I was very delighted to speak to a group of women about something that is so near and dear to my heart, health. So often we look at the word as 6 letters. Is it H-E-A-L? But it's a simple word, but yet it has such an impact in all of our lives. We have to maintain our health. We have to get there and maintain and keep it. And so often we try to pass the buck onto someone else. We try to cheat with new products. the get health quick schemes, if you will. But certainly we have all the tools. We were born with all of the tools: the mind, the spirit, the body, to do what we need to do to get in the physical activity, to make sure that we're keeping a sound mind, the body, that we're eating healthy. So I'm excited to be broaching so many of those topics.
Well, Kelly, I know you and I have heard Erica speak, right?
Oh, fantastic.
And I'm
fantastic.
shy.
Oh, not at all. But that's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Pine of dynamite, that's what I call it.
Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate that.
That's going to be a wonderful conference.
Yeah, it really is a good conference, and the focus this time is trying to get women through the sororities, because we have presidents and former presidents of the sorority chapter speaking at each tour stop, trying to get them to our attendees to kind of understand that not only is this journey your journey, but we are responsible for each other.
Absolutely.
And we have to look out for each other, sister to sister.
I encourage, women, men, children, boys and girls of all ages, when someone's doing something great and positive and excellent, join the bandwagon and kind of see what they're doing. I'm a fitness instructor, so I actually started out as far as with the physical journey part. I'm from the small town of Denmark, South Carolina.
Okay.
And
you've been there. The tour's been to Denmark.
And so but at any rate, growing up there, and I was a cheerleader in high school and went on to college, and I was the mascot, but I gained not the freshman 15, but the freshman 30 and the freshman 40, and I became, more sedentary. So at one point, I just started I came back from a vacation in Tennessee, and I said, you know what, I need to make some health changes. And so I started working out, and I actually dropped my goal was at that time, I was 24, and I said I wanted to lose 25 by 25, something I think is an admirable goal, something that's attainable. It was in March, my birthday's in September, and so at any rate, I, buckled down, made the necessary changes. Again, it is very much psychological in terms of thinking that you can do it and getting together, but at any rate, I became a fitness instructor, and now, oh gosh, I enjoy so much. It's not only the public speaking, but when I can go out and I can teach a fitness class, and I see people on their weight loss journey or their health journey, because it's not just about the numbers on the scale, it's about the health benefits, lowering the numbers and raising, the good cholesterol versus the bad cholesterol and all of those things. So I'm excited. I mean, empowerment tour, power is right in the center of that word, and we each have the power to make a difference in our individual lives. And I'm just thrilled to be a part. I'm looking forward to seeing all the wonderful women coming in different shapes, sizes, colors, heights, and all of those things that are coming in, the fashionistas, the fashionistas. Bring it all in collectively, because we all matter to God. He brought us all in, and so I'm just excited. So I'm grateful.
Well, we want you to stay tuned, because coming up next, we're going to talk about something that's very dear and popular with us here at the IMARA Woman magazine, and that's the IMARA Men honorees. We'll be right back.